Person asks me if I'm Blueface mama, I swear to God, I'm gonna slap the shit out of them. My name is Karlissa. Do not walk up on me talking about, can you take a picture with Blueface mama? Okay, I'm not fucking with him, so therefore, and I know you know that. Why the fuck y'all keep walking up asking to take a picture of somebody's mama that don't like their kids? You're doing it on purpose, I know. Especially on them little black mamas. I know y'all doing it on purpose. I'm looking all good, looking all cute. They want to take a picture with Blueface mama. We don't give a fuck about none of that shit no more, okay? God damn, can I just be Karlissa? Motherfuckers grown as hell. Y'all still calling me that I'm their mama. They ain't got no mama. She ran off and left with a man. Girl, that's the most annoying thing. I swear to God. Next time they ask me to take a picture with Blueface mama, I'm gonna put my finger in my nose in the picture. Just like this.
Nah, somebody hit pause on reality because what did we just hear? Imagine waking up, checking your phone, and suddenly seeing Karlissa Saffold basically say she's done being Blueface's mom. Not arguing, not venting, not a little shade done. Done, like she clocked out of motherhood and left the badge on the desk. Internet, yeah, it didn't just react, it collapsed. Because how do you even process that? This isn't a celebrity breakup. This isn't a friendship fallout. This is family, bloodline. The kind of bond people say is unbreakable. And now it's trending like a reality show finale where everybody. Why screaming and nobody's making sense? 1 minute it's regular timeline scrolling, next minute, boom, emotional chaos, confusion, and hot takes flying faster than Wi-Fi can handle. And the way she said it, oh, it wasn't soft. It wasn't subtle. It was the kind of energy that makes people stop mid-scroll like, hold on, did she really? Just say that, clips started circulating, captions getting wilder by the second, and suddenly everybody's a relationship expert and a family therapist at the same time. You've got people replaying it like it's evidence in court. But here's where it gets even crazier. Because this didn't come out of nowhere. No, this has history, layers, old drama, new tension. Unresolved issues stacked on top of each other like a tower that was already shaking, and now it just got pushed. And let's not ignore the biggest trigger in all of this, money.support.loyalty. Because once those words enter the chat, oh, it's game over. Now it's not just emotional, it's personal, financial, and public all at once. And when family drama goes public like this, there's no clean exit. There's no quiet resolution. It turns into a full-blown spectacle that the internet refuses to look away from. Now fans are divided, theories are multiplying, and the timeline feels like it's about to explode again. Let's rewind this entire situation. Because what we're witnessing right now didn't just appear out of thin air like some random viral moment. The tension between Karlissa Saffold and Blueface has been brewing for a long time, and if you've been paying attention, you already know this relationship has never been calm, quiet, or simple. From the very beginning, their dynamic has played out in public like a reality show that never takes a break. Interviews, social media posts, live streams, every disagreement, every emotional moment, every bit of tension somehow finds its way onto the timeline. And once it's out there, oh, the internet grabs it and runs with it like it's the season finale of a drama series. Not at first. A lot of people brushed it off as typical family disagreements. You know, the kind that looks intense from the outside but eventually gets resolved behind closed doors. But over time, it became clear that this wasn't just small arguments or temporary misunderstandings. This was something deeper, something that kept resurfacing no matter how many times it looked like things were cooling down. And one thing that always stayed at the center of it all: control, support, expectations. Because when you mix family with fame, money, and public attention, everything gets amplified. What might have been a private disagreement in a normal situation suddenly becomes a public debate where everybody has an opinion and nobody has the full story. Now let's talk about the role Karlissa has played throughout all of this. She hasn't exactly been quiet. In fact, she's been one of the loudest voices in the entire situation. Speaking out, reacting, defending, calling things out whatever was happening. She wasn't sitting back and letting the narrative build without her input. And that's part of what made this dynamic so explosive. Because every time something happened, it didn't just stay between them, it turned into content. And that content? Oh, it kept the internet locked in. But here's where things start getting complicated, because over time, the tone of those interactions started shifting. What once felt like emotional reactions began to feel more intense, more personal, more layered. Fans started noticing that the energy wasn't just frustration, it was building into something that didn't seem like it would resolve easily. And then came the financial conversations. Now this is where things took a serious turn, because once money enters the conversation, especially in a public family dynamic, it changes everything. Support becomes a topic, expectations become a topic, and suddenly, people start asking questions they wouldn't normally ask. Who's helping who? What's being provided? What's being withheld? And once those questions hit the internet, there's no going back. Different narratives started forming at the same time. Some people believed she deserved support, arguing that family should always show up for each other, especially when one person has reached a certain level of success. Others, they weren't as sympathetic. They started questioning boundaries, independence, and whether support should come with conditions. And just like that, the internet split. Meanwhile, the back and forth energy between them didn't exactly disappear. If anything, it evolved. Moments of calm would pop up here and there, giving the impression that things might be stabilizing. But those moments never seemed to last long, because something would always bring the tension back, a comment, a reaction, a subtle jab that fans would pick up on immediately. And you already know, once the internet notices something like that, it doesn't stay subtle for long. It turns into a full-blown conversation. Now here's the part that really set the stage for what we're seeing now. The build-up. Because this didn't happen in one moment. It was a series of moments stacked on top of each other, slowly building pressure over time. Like a situation that keeps getting pushed and pushed until it finally reaches a breaking point. And that breaking point, that's what we just witnessed. Because when Karlissa said she was done, it didn't feel like a random outburst. It felt like the result of everything that had been building up behind the scenes, things we've seen publicly and things we probably haven't. And that's why the reaction has been so intense. Because people aren't just reacting to one statement, they're reacting to the entire history behind it. Now the internet is trying to piece everything together, connecting past moments to present statements like they're solving a puzzle. This is why she said that. Remember when that happened? This has been coming. And honestly, they might not be completely wrong, because when a situation reaches this level, it's rarely about one issue. It's about everything. Meanwhile, the silence from Blueface is adding another layer to the chaos, because in situations like this, silence isn't neutral. It's loud. It creates questions. It builds tension. It makes people wonder what's happening on the other side of the story. Is he ignoring it? Is he processing it? Is there something bigger going on that hasn't been revealed? Yet, nobody knows. But that uncertainty, it's making everything feel even more unpredictable. Because now we're sitting in this moment where the statement has been made, the internet has reacted, and the tension is at an all-time high. But the full story, and this is where everything goes from okay, that's messy, to full-blown internet warfare. Because the moment Karlissa Saffold said she was done, the timeline didn't just react, it detonated like somebody dropped a season finale with zero warning. We're talking instant chaos, TikTok edits flying like confetti, Twitter threads longer than a Marvel movie script, Instagram comments turning into emotional boxing matches. One side screaming she's right, the other side yelling nah, this is too much. And in the middle, pure confusion, because nobody knows how this escalated to that level. Because let's be real, this wasn't just a statement, This felt like a declaration, the kind that doesn't leave room for interpretation, the kind that makes people pause mid-scroll like, hold up. Is this for real, or are we watching a scripted reality show at this point? And then came the reactions. Oh, the reactions. Fans didn't just comment, they wrote essays. People breaking down the situation like they're presenting a case. In court, here's why she said it. Here's what he did. Here's where it all went wrong. Suddenly, everybody's an expert in family dynamics, finances, and emotional boundaries all at the same time. And of course, the memes, because you already know the internet couldn't resist. Comparisons to reality TV moms, dramatic reenactments, exaggerated captions like when your mom quits mid-season. It was chaotic, hilarious, and uncomfortable all at once. 1 minute you're laughing, the next minute you're like, wait, this is actually serious. But underneath all that noise, there's something deeper happening, the conversation about money. Because once people realized that support or the lack of it was at the center of this situation, everything shifted. Now it's not just emotional, it's financial. And when you mix money with family, especially in the public eye, oh, that's when things get really messy. Now the internet is divided into camps. One side is saying family should always support family. They're arguing that once you reach a certain level of success, you take care of your people. No questions asked. To them, this situation feels like betrayal, like something that goes against an unspoken rule of loyalty. But then there's the other side, and they are not playing, they're saying, at some point, boundaries matter. That support isn't an unlimited resource, that independence is important. And that just because someone is family doesn't mean the dynamic can't change. And honestly, that perspective is hitting just as hard. And just like that, the debate gets even louder. Oh, this is a publicity move. This is setting up something bigger. This is just the beginning of another storyline. Now, are those theories real? Or are they just the internet doing what it does best, turning uncertainty into entertainment? Nobody knows. But what we do know is this: every new theory adds fuel to an already raging fire. And then, the silence. Because while the internet is screaming, debating, joking, analyzing, Blueface hasn't fully stepped in to address it directly in a way that satisfies anyone. And that silence, oh, it's loud. Because now people are reading into everything. No response means he doesn't care. No response means he's planning something. No response means there's more to the story. And suddenly, silence becomes part of the narrative. Meanwhile, Karlissa's energy, still intense, still emotional, still very much present in the conversation. And that's what's keeping the situation alive. Because when one side is speaking and the other side is quiet, the imbalance creates even more tension. People want answers. They want clarity. They want something that ties all of this together into a story that makes sense. But instead, they're getting pieces, fragments, moments that don't fully connect, yet somehow create an even bigger picture. And that picture? It's messy, because now this isn't just about one statement or one reaction. It's about a dynamic that's being exposed in real time. A relationship that's being dissected publicly in ways that most people would never want to experience. And the craziest part, people can't look away, because whether you're supporting, criticizing, or just watching out of curiosity, this situation has something that keeps pulling you back in. Maybe it's the unpredictability. Maybe it's the emotional intensity. Maybe it's the fact that it feels so real, so unfiltered, so far from the polished image people expect from public figures. And now, we've reached that exact moment where everything shifts from loud chaos into something way more intense, something that feels like the calm right before a storm hits harder than anyone expects. Because after all the reactions, the debates, the memes, and the endless back and forth, the situation between Karlissa Saffold and Blueface doesn't feel like just drama anymore. God, it feels personal. And that's what's making the entire internet uncomfortable. Because let's be real, people can joke, argue, and pick sides all day long. But at the end of the day, This is still a family situation unfolding in front of millions of eyes. And now that the initial shock has settled, the tone is starting to shift into something deeper, heavier, more complicated, because now the conversation isn't just who's right or who's wrong. It's what happens next. And that question, it's sitting on the timeline like a ticking time bomb. Because depending on what happens next, this situation could go in completely different directions. It could calm down, resolve privately, and slowly fade out of the spotlight. Or it could escalate even further into something that makes everything we've seen so far look small. And if you've been watching closely, you already know which direction people are expecting. Meanwhile, the reactions aren't slowing down, they're evolving. Supporters are still standing strong, backing Karlissa and saying she had every right to speak out. To them, this was a breaking point, a moment where everything that had been building up finally came out. They're calling it honesty, calling it transparency, calling it someone finally saying what needed to be said. But on the other side, the energy is just as intense. Critics are questioning the approach, the public nature of it all, the impact this could have long term. Because once something like this is out there, it doesn't just disappear, it lingers, it shapes perceptions. It changes how people look at both sides involved. And that's where things start getting even more complicated. Because now, it's not just about the relationship between them, it's about the public version of that relationship, the version that people see, judge, and form opinions about without ever knowing the full truth. And that public perception, it's powerful. It can build someone up or tear them down. And right now, it's doing both at the same time. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, at least according to all the whispers floating around, things aren't exactly calm either. People are speculating that conversations are happening privately, that tensions are still high, that there's way more to this story than what's been shown publicly. Now, are those claims accurate? Or are they just the internet filling in gaps again? That's the part nobody can confirm. But what we do know is this: when a situation reaches this level, there's always more happening behind closed doors than what we see on the surface. And then something unexpected happens. Not a huge announcement, not a dramatic reveal, but a shift, a subtle change in energy that people start picking up on without even realizing it. Because suddenly, the focus starts moving away from just the statement and toward the aftermath. What does this mean for their relationship moving forward? Is this permanent? Is there any chance of reconciliation? And those questions, they don't have easy answers. Because relationships like this, especially ones this public, this complicated, don't follow a simple path. They twist, they turn, they evolve in ways that nobody can fully predict. And that unpredictability, it's what's keeping everyone locked in. Because deep down, people are waiting for the next move, waiting for a response, waiting for something, anything that gives clarity to a situation that currently feels like a puzzle, missing half its pieces. And here's where things take a turn that nobody saw coming: silence, not just from one side, but from both. No new statements, no immediate reactions, just quiet. And that quiet, it's louder than anything that's been said so far. Because now, instead of reacting to new information, the internet is reacting to the absence of it. Theories are multiplying. Speculation is spreading. People are connecting dots that may or may not even be there. Some are saying this silence means things are being handled privately, away from the cameras and the chaos. Others think it's the setup for something bigger: a response, a reveal, a twist that nobody is ready for. Now wait a second. If you just sat through all of that and you're still acting like this is normal family drama, I need you to wake up, because what did we just witness? This wasn't tea. This was a full-blown emotional explosion with plot twists, tension, and chaos that feels like it's still unfolding in real time. So don't just scroll away like nothing happened. Smash that like button like it owes you money and you've been waiting all month to collect. I'm talking full force, no mercy, because you know this story had you shocked, confused, and probably questioning everything at least twice. Now I need you in those comments right now. What's your take on Karlissa Saffold and Blueface's situation? Are you siding with Karlissa like she finally said what needed to be said? Or are you looking at this like, nah, this went way too far? Don't hold back, drop your real opinions, your wildest theories, your hottest takes, because trust me, that comment section is about to turn into a full-on war zone. And if you think this was intense, oh, you're not ready for what's coming next. Because over here, we don't just watch the drama, we break it down, flip it, and serve it hotter than fresh gossip straight out the group chat. 1 minute it's quiet, next minute BOM another twist hits and the internet loses its mind. All over again. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button like you're locking in your VIP seat to the wildest show online. Turn those notifications on so you never get caught slipping when the next bombshell drops, because you already know it's coming. Stay locked in with Fame Flaws, where the drama never ends.